Hello. Let me work with something real quick. Does that look purple? I'm trying to go for purple. Purple? No. Yes. Maybe. Looks good. Okay, cool. Cool. Come here, honey. Come here. You're good.
I'll do it later.
Okay. How was everyone's Wednesday? Is that as purple? Let me see something. Kind of like that. Ooh, I think I like that lighting. Hello, everybody. Hey, Julie. Hey, Palm. Hey, hey, Kimmy. Hey, Tara. Hey, Shirley. Hey, Rebecca. Thank you for reposting. Hello, Rebecca. How are you? Hey, Diana. Hey, Bossman. Let's start reposting the live if you would, sharing the live. Share it to your friends if you would, please. Hey Sandra. Hey Al. Hey X. Hey Shelly Belly. How are you? Thank you for the follow. Which one was good lighting? Because I was going through quite a few. If y'all can tell me which one, because I went through a whole series of colors. So, hello, Mark. Omaris 91. Thank you for the follow. Hello over there in the white channel. Tonight is night 2, our paranormal live investigation into the Amityville haunting. Are you ready? It's great. Okay. Yeah, I like this one because you can see the purple kind of paranormal feel in the background. What do you think night 2 is going to be about? Hello, Andrew. Oh, yeah. Who's did a little bit of investigating into it? Well, that's a good thing. Seven minutes. Let's start sharing the live with friends, family. We've all got friends on TikTok. Let's share it. Please start tapping. Tap, 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 tap. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Do, 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 do. Hey, Pamela. Hey, Mystic. Thank you for the follow. I'm so glad you enjoy it. Hey, Lord Vader. Hey, Rhonda. I see those taps going up. I'm tapping 2 until it's time. 2 minutes. Let's get some more viewers in here. Tap, 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 tap. Hey, Tracy, welcome in. Thank you for sharing the live, Mystic. Thank you. Trying to at least get over 2K in. Hey, Pastelina. I sent 532. I'm tapping with all 3 fingers. Okay, cool. Thank you, Julie. Welcome to Paranormal Files Live. Tonight we are going to continue our investigation into the Amityville haunting. Night 1 was scary. We talked about the DeFeo family and how all 6 of them were murdered, with the exception of Ronnie DeFeo Jr. Tonight, we are going to move to the next phase of this paranormal case, the Lutz family. Now, I did a lot of research on this for the past couple days, and there are going to be some who say that certain things did happen, certain things did not, but we're going to go ahead and get started on it. But first, this is Paranormal Files Live. I am your host, Bryn Morgan, and I am a horror author, and I am also a lover of the paranormal. I have been consistently watching all 11 seasons of A Haunting. And if you haven't watched it, it is really good, and I highly recommend that you watch it. It is so good. But without any further ado, let's get into the case. December the 18th, 1975. 13 months after 6 people were murdered in the Amityville house. And let me go ahead and show you this house. This is it. I think it's a beautiful house, but I think it's also very scary. So, Amityville House had sat dormant for 13 months. And this was after 6 people were murdered in the house. So it was the father, the mother, and 4 children. George and Kathy Lutz move into 112 Ocean Avenue with their 3 children. And they got the house very cheap, extremely cheap, because who wants to live in a house where a massacre happened, right? So that is my first question that I want to pose to you is if you saw a house and it was just dirt cheap, like you just could not believe how cheap it was, but then the realtor revealed to you that someone, was unalive there or someone passed away there, would you move in? Even if it was such a good deal, would you move in? Let's see what the audience has to say tonight. It does, it does. Hey, turtle woman. Yeah, it does. It does almost look like that. No. Nope, nope, nope. Depends. I think I could handle someone that just passed away there as opposed to someone being unalive there. I don't think I would be able to do that, right? Right, Zoe Ann? Yeah, I don't think I would be able to do that. Hey, Kimberly. Bossman says, not a chance. But the Lutzes aren't superstitious. They're practical. It's a beautiful house. It's a great location, a highly desired neighborhood, and they can handle some dark history. Right. 28 days later, not even a full month, they will flee in the middle of the night, leaving everything behind. Clothes, furniture, you name it, they leave it. Toys, everything. They will never return to the Amityville house. Not ever. And they will never set foot in 112 Ocean Avenue again. They just take a loss. What happened in those 28 days? That's what we're investigating tonight on Paranormal Files Live. But here's what you need to know before we begin. Much of what the Lutzes claimed happened in that house many years later was found out to be a lie, a fabrication, a hoax designed to make them rich and famous. But not all of it. Some of what happened in that house, other people witnessed it too. People who had no reason to lie. People who reported the same phenomena years before and years after the Lutzes. Welcome back to Paranormal Files Live. I'm Bryn Morgan, and tonight we separate the truth from the bullshit. Welcome back, Seekers. Night 2 of our Amityville investigation. Before we dive in, I need to know who's here. Drop it in the chat. Were you here Monday for the first part? Are you new? Are you just now jumping in tonight? And what is your location? Where do you hail from? I'm from South Carolina. Let's get to know each other. Vermont, just jumping in. Diana was here. Hey, Amy from upstate New York. Shirley from Michigan. Tampa Bay, Andrew. Harper, New Pompano Beach, Florida. Welcome in, Harper. Was here Monday. I missed it because I had a Columbus Blue Jackets game to go to. There you go. Montana, Shauna, Rhonda Felicia here. She was in Ohio. Welcome in, Harper. Good to have you here. So good to see returning investigators and to welcome new seekers as well. For those joining tonight, here's what you missed on Monday. November the 13th, 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. murdered his entire family, parents and 4 siblings. 6 people unalived in their beds, all face down. None tried to escape. Ronnie confessed after multiple fake stories, convicted of the 6 murders. Here's the impossible details, things that I still cannot wrap my mind around, because when the autopsy was performed, there were no drugs in the DeFeo family's system. So that kind of just moves that out of the way. So the impossible details were, how did no one wake up? This wasn't some small pew-pew. This was a high-powered, calibrated rifle. Why were they all positioned the exact same way? Why were they all face down in their beds? And I talked about how I cannot sleep face down in the bed. I have to be on my back watching everything. Everything, because I don't know, I don't trust it. The house had a very strange history even before the DeFeo murders happened, and multiple people across the decades report seeing a young boy on the stairs, and this was before the DeFeo family was murdered in their beds. Some have said that it could have possibly been John Matthew DeFeo, who was age 9, and he was murdered on the 3rd floor. But even before that, back in the 1950s, people reported seeing a boy peeking from around the stairs. Let me show you that photo. So this is the famous photo, and hopefully you'll be able to see it. I could not find a completely clear photo, but how freaking creepy is that? Pretty darn creepy. So, I'm sorry, but I think it was supernatural. I do. What are your thoughts? Because that is where we left off. So, quick memory check for Monday's Seekers. What was the most disturbing detail from the DeFeo murders? What stuck with you? Let's drop it in the chat. Also in Y Channel. Hey, Carol. Hello, Sugar Boots. I love your name. Um, what is that black shadow in the door? I don't know. What do you think it is, X? Thank you, Carol. I do. I think it was supernatural. I saw something here. I think they woke up. Oh, it's from Diana. I think they woke up and he made them turn over, or he slung them over them after he did it. That's definitely possible. Yeah, that was very chilling. It did not faze him. It did not faze him one bit that he had unalived his total family. Those details definitely haunt you, don't they? So keep them in mind tonight, because the Lutzes will claim their experience in that house was even worse. But was it? That's what we are investigating. Is anything of what they said true? Let me show you the Lutz family. So this is George and his wife. That's one of the creepy ass staircases in the house. That staircase reminds me so much of the house that I just moved from. Hey, Becca Lynn, welcome in. The one that I told you I felt a very ominous presence. That was it. um, Here's another picture of the Lutz family. They're the family that we're going to be discussing tonight. And there's a picture of the Amityville house. And then this is the picture with all three children. Let me see if I can get that a little bit. That didn't really work. But anyway, those are the George and Carol and their three kids. So tonight we are going to be building this investigation. So, who are George and Kathy Lutz? What exactly did they claim happened during their 28 days in that house? What evidence supports their claims? What evidence contradicts them? The lawyer's confession. We made it all up. But what about the reports from other people? The boy on the stairs, multiple witnesses across decades. The red room in the basement. And the question, how much of it was a hoax? Was all of it a hoax? This is detective work, seekers. Evidence analysis, separating the signal from the noise. Ready to investigate? Let's meet the Lutzes. December 1975. The house at 112 Ocean Avenue had been empty for 13 months. The DeFeo murders made it nearly impossible to sell. I mean, can you imagine? The asking price drops, and then it drops again, and then it drops again. It was a nightmare for the realtor that was trying to sell it. Finally, a couple expresses interest. George Lutz is young. He's 28. He's a Marine veteran. He works as a surveyor. He's recently married. He's a stepfather to Kathy's 3 children. By accounts, they are practical, they're level headed, not particularly religious or superstitious. Then we have Kathy Lutz. Now, she's older, she's 33, and she's the mother of 3 from a previous marriage. She works part time. She was raised Catholic, but not actively practicing. And she wants a fresh start with George. And she feels very lucky that she found a man like him, and he wants to take on the responsibility of being the children's father. The children. We have Danny, who is age 9. Chris, who is age 7, and Missy, who is age 5. George and Kathy are looking for a large house that they can afford. They have those 3 kids, they need space, and 112 Ocean Avenue is available. And when I tell you what the price was, you're probably your mouth is going to gape open. They sold that house for $80,000. Well below market value. I mean, way below. Here's some real talk. Again, I asked you at the beginning, would you, because I know more people have came in the live now, would you buy a house where 6 people were murdered if the price was right? Be honest. Yes, it's just a house. Tragedies happen everywhere. No, absolutely not. Too creepy. I'm not living in a house where 6 people's lives were taken. Depends. How much cheaper are we talking? Let me go to your comments. Aha. No. Never. Nope. Hey, Rose. Nopey. No. Bonnie Lass says. Pamela says no. Angela says nope. Palm says no. Becca Litton says I could never. Not happening. Honey, the land. Right. That is so funny. No, I would not move in a house that. No. I said I might live in a house where um, someone, passed away from natural circumstances. But even then, I don't know. I guess it would depend on the vibe, on the feeling that I get when I walk in it. But absolutely not. No, I would not do that. So most of you are saying no. The Lutzes said yes. So the Lutzes go in and they tour the house. New carpet has been put down. The walls have been freshly painted. Um, Kathy absolutely loves the staircases. One of them is a curving staircase where you see the boy, and then the other one is toward the back, toward the kitchen. So I just get creepy vibes off that picture. Um, Real hardwood floors, chandeliers, original doorknobs, land, a boathouse. I mean, all of this for $80,000. 80K. So as they're touring it, the realtor says nothing. She like, do you like it? Oh, it's just gorgeous. Oh, it's just gorgeous. It's exactly what we're looking for. And the price, George speaks up and asks the realtor, is it real? Is that price real? Yes, sir. Absolutely. 100%. So George and Kathy look at each other. Well, I want it. Look at it, babe. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. So the realtor looks at them. She says, I do have to let you in on something though. And they look at her. What? And the reason that she tells them is because she is required by law to disclose what happened in that house. So she says, I hope it doesn't change your decision, but if it does, I completely get it. Back about a year and a half ago, 6 people were murdered here. And George and Kathy just look at her and they go outside and they say, will you let us talk for a little bit? And she says, sure. And she's a nervous wreck because everyone else that she has showed this house, they fall absolutely in love with it. And then the second that they find out that someone was unalived in that house, and not just one, but an entire family, they're gone so fast her eyes spin. So she's out there and she's kind of in the little foyer area and she's listening in. I don't know, babe. I mean, that's kind of weird. Yeah, but I mean, come on, we're not gonna find anything better than this. And the kids need room, they're fighting constantly. Each of the kids will have their own bedroom, George. Come on, please. So what do the Lutzes do? They decide that they can handle it. It's a beautiful house, great location on the water. George has already seen the boat that's going to be docked there. They can make new memories there. Those things that happened in that house previously are not their memories. They're going to build new ones. They're going to build their family. On December the 18th, 1975, they move in. Now, when they come to the house on day one, they bring a priest with them to bless the house. Reason being is because Kathy's mother told her that, it's a new house for you, but it's an older house, and I feel like you should get it blessed. I feel like you should have our priest come and pray over it. So they do. They brought a priest to bless the house on move-in day. Here's your question. Does that suggest that they were worried about the house's history? Or just being cautious? Drop your read on this. Possibly they could have. Bonnie Lass says both. Mystic says both. Shirley says maybe. They claim not to be superstitious, so maybe it was just caution, maybe because Kathy's mother told her that it would be a wise thing to do to go in there with a fresh start, So I think we both agree, all of us agree, that it suggests some level of concern. And even if they claim not to be superstitious, I don't think it was a bad idea. And according to the Lutzes, that blessing, when they prayed over the house, when holy water was sprinkled around every door and room, that's when things started going wrong. And the funny thing about that is, in all these shows that I've been watching, A Haunting, all these different shows I've been watching, I sometimes don't think that a blessing is the best thing that you can do on your house, considering the accounts that I've heard. It's like anything that is dormant, it's like the blessing just opens it up. But do you agree with me? What do you think? I have seen case after case, show after show. Hello, Jenny. How are you? Hello, Beatley. Hi there. I'm just telling you, I've seen so many to this point that I really feel that it opens up a door. It opens up a doorway. It brings them to the surface. Exactly, Andrew. It definitely does. So I just believe that a blessing may not be the very best thing. Because that is when things started going wrong. So Father Ralph Mancuso is a Catholic priest, and he's friends of the Lutz family. He agrees to bless the house on December the 18th, 1975. And according to the Lutz's later claims, here's what happened. Now, I'm presenting this as the Lutz version, and we will fact check it all later. Father Mancuso arrives at 112 Ocean Avenue. The Lutzes are still moving boxes in. The house is loud, the children are running up and down the stairs, the moving truck is there. It's just total craziness. So, George and Kathy apologize. Kathy says, I'm so sorry that we've got all this going on here, but I really do want to get this done. Oh, no problem at all. I can do my work without bothering you, and you can do your work without bothering me. So the priest begins walking through the house. He's sprinkling holy water. He's marking each door with holy water on his thumb, saying prayers, bless this house, bless all who are in it. He goes room to room, kitchen, living room. Then he climbs up the stairs to the bedrooms. Then he enters a room on the second floor, one of the bedrooms where one of the DeFeo children were unalived. And Father Mancuso begins praying. In the name of the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. And automatically he feels a chill. And according to Father Mancuso's account, as told through the Lutzes, he hears a voice. A male voice, deep, commanding, angry. The voice is loud and it is hostile. Get out! So the priest stops. He looks around. No one else is in the room. Father Mancuso leaves the room. He's shaken, but he continues the blessing. He finishes quickly and he leaves that house as fast as he can. However, George Lutz receives a call that same day, later that day, and he tells him what happened. He warns George, be very careful in that house. It's not right. Let's pause here. This is the Lutz version of events. Father Mancuso, the priest, allegedly heard a demonic voice tell him to get out. Question: how can we verify this claim? What evidence would you look for? Or drop it in the chat. What would you do to prove that the claim is true? Hey, Martha Reagan, I would probably want to speak directly to the priest. I would want to go directly to the source, the one that heard heard it, or right, Shirley, maybe, a recording, something. So, right, Turtle Woman, go talk to the priest. Hey, Jonathan Ortiz, thank you for the follow. I would look for, I would check the priest's records. Did he write anything down? Did he, did he have it recorded? Something like that. So if you said those things, and you did, then excellent investigative thinking. So let's fact check this. The blessing. What we know, and I'm going back on things that I've heard down through the years. What we know, Father Mancuso was a real person. He did visit the house on December the 18th. That is absolute fact, okay? He did perform a blessing. And he did speak with George Lutz afterward. Excuse me, just 1 second. This is what's disputed, what we know, or what we're asking. Did he hear a voice? Father Mancuso later gave conflicting statements. experience. In some interviews, he confirmed hearing something. In other interviews, he denied the dramatic version. He eventually refused to discuss Amityville at all. And he died in 2004 without ever fully confirming or denying the story. Here's red flag number 1. The Lutzes are the primary source for the dramatic details here. Father Mancuso never confirmed fully that he heard a voice say, "Get out." Red flag number 2. The story gets more elaborate in later retellings, as lies do. Initially, it was the priest felt uncomfortable. Later, it became the priest heard a demonic voice. Verdict. Very possible that Father Mancuso felt uneasy. Do you think he heard a clear demonic voice, though? Or do you think that the Lutzes embellished this story? But let's continue, because the blessing is just the beginning of their claims. The Lutzes move in on December the 18th, 1975. And according to their later testimony in books, interviews, and the famous movie, here's what they experienced over the next 28 days. I'm going to present their claims first, then we'll fact check each one. Ready? Let me see it in the comments. Ready to dive in, seekers? I mean, I know that they're saying this, but I've just heard too many stories about this. I've heard, a blessing being said, and, a demonic voice, a loud voice, things moving, the house shaking. All right, you're ready. Let's go. Now, I'm doing this in chronological order of the Lutz claims. Week 1, December the 18th through the 24th. Claim 1, extreme cold in specific rooms. I believe that. I've experienced it before. Kathy's sewing room is on the 3rd floor, and she claimed that it was unbearably cold despite heat being on. The children's bedrooms, cold spots that move. George wakes up at 3:15 a.m. every night, and that happened to be the exact time of the murders. Okay, so file that away. Claim 2, flies. Swarms of flies in the house despite it being winter. Concentrated in one particular window. Hundreds of flies appearing and disappearing. Claim 3, George's personality change. He becomes obsessed with the fireplace. He stops going to work regularly. He becomes withdrawn and aggressive and shows violent tendencies. And he completely neglects his appearance. Not taking a bath, not combing his hair, not brushing his teeth, nothing. Just completely lets himself go. Claim 4, Missy's imaginary friend. 5-year-old Missy starts talking about Jody. Now, um, Jody is a pig with red eyes. Jody tells Missy secrets. Missy seems afraid of Jody, but is also drawn to Jody in a way that can't be explained. Hey, Tigger. So, before we continue, let's take a quick poll. Which of these claims seems most plausible to you? Which of these claims seems most plausible to you? A. Cold spots. B. Flies. C. Personality change. D. Imaginary friend. Andrew says all of them. X says cold spots. Martha says C. She says personality change. Pink says all of the above. Mystic says personality changes. Carol says all. Amy says all of them. Rhonda says all. Jenny says cold spots. Becca Lynn says cold spots. Pamela says cold spots. I'm going to go with, again, just hearing everything that I've heard down through the years, and especially, watching this show, I think it could have been a combination of all of them. I heard 3 or 4 more stories where flies were dominant, where they just kept showing up. They just would not go away. So I'm going to go with a combination of all of them. The flies are a freaky thing. They absolutely are. But stretching it some, sure. Yeah, so I think probably the most credible to the crew is the personality and the cold spots, right? That is true, Andrew. That is true. Week 2, December the 25th through the 31st. Claim 5. Hoof prints. Now, George finds cloven hoof prints in the snow outside of Missy's window. What does hoof prints mean? What is that a sign of? He also finds them on the 2nd floor. Nothing could have made those prints at that height. Claim 6. Kathy levitates. George wakes to find Kathy floating above the bed. Her eyes are open, but she's not conscious. She slowly lowers back down. Claim 7. Physical transformations. Kathy starts to look aged. Wrinkles appear overnight. George sees her transform into a hag with white hair. I never heard that one before until I started studying this. By morning, though, she looks completely normal again. Claim 8. The marching band. The family hears what sounds like a marching band in the living room. Loud music, drums, horns. When they investigate, nothing is there. Week 3, January the 1st through the 7th. Claim 9, green slime. Thick green slime oozes from walls and keyholes. Smells absolutely horrible, appears and disappears, can't be cleaned off, just vanishes and comes right back. Claim 10, the demonic face in the fireplace. George claims to see a demonic face in the fireplace. Red eyes, horns, and fangs. Stares at him for several minutes. Disappears when he tries to show Kathy. Claim 11, windows and doors. Windows and doors slam open and shut on their own. Locked doors found unlocked. Locks rip out of door frames. Front door ripped off its hinges. Claim 12, the crucifix. A crucifix on the wall, literally in front of Kathy, rotates until it is upside down. Kathy tries to flip it back. It rotates again to be in the position of upside down. Eventually, the crucifix flies off the wall and lands across the room. Week 4, January the 8th through the 14th. Claim 13, physical attacks. Kathy is pushed down the stairs by invisible hands. George is slapped across the face while he's alone. Scratch marks appear on Kathy's body. 3 scratches. Bite marks appear on George. Claim 14, the red room. George discovers a small hidden room in the basement and becomes obsessed with it. It's painted entirely red. The room isn't on the house's blueprints, he claims. The family dog refuses to go in this room, refuses to go. Gives everyone intense feelings of dread from the moment that they enter that room. George senses this is the source of the evil in Amityville house. Claim 15, possession attempts. George starts thinking violent thoughts. What are those thoughts? Unaliving his family. Considers unaliving them at night when the voices are the strongest. Kathy sees him standing over the children's bed with a weapon. He snaps out of it, though, before doing anything bad. Claim 16, the final night. January the 14th, 1976. All phenomena that they have been experiencing in that house happens at once. Windows exploding, slime everywhere, demonic voices, marching band music, levitation, physical attacks. The entire house comes alive. The Lutzes grab their children and flee. They leave everything. They never return. Okay, you've heard all the claims. Gut reaction. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much of this do you believe? Drop your number. I'm gonna go with, oh, and let me tell you this. 1 is complete bullshit. 10 is all true. So I'm seeing some mixed numbers. I'm seeing 5, 7, 10. Becca Lynn. I'm seeing more 5s, a 9, a 10. I'd say 10. I would say 5. Def 10. I mean, again, I know that all of this can be experienced. I've experienced some of it for myself, so I think that's probably what leads me to say a 10. What about you over there in White Channel? What are your thoughts? 10, 8, exit stage left, 8, 10, all, same all. I want to say all of them. Hey, Trish. So, very, very interesting. Most of it could be exaggerated. I don't know if it was to the extent of what he said, but I do believe, hey, Renee, I do believe that I believe it could happen to a certain degree. I'll go with that. So most of you are in that 2 to 5 range ish smart. Because now, let's fact check it. All right, time to debunk. All right, let's investigate these claims one by one. What can we verify and what can we debunk? What remains unknown? Claim 1, cold spots. Cold spots are consistently reported in allegedly haunted locations. I have experienced it myself. I know that it's absolutely true. This is one that I would say I absolutely do believe that cold spots were there. Um, Multiple other people report cold areas in 112 Ocean Avenue across different ownerships. It was always something that was mentioned, how cold that certain areas in the house were. Could indicate genuine paranormal activity or poor insulation in an old house. But I'm going to go with that one being true. And y'all can post in the comments as I'm going through these whether you think it is true or not. So I'm going to say that one's true. So that is evidence for. Now we're going to go against evidence against. The house was built in 1927. Old houses have very poor insulation. Third floor rooms are always harder to heat because the heat has to rise. Um, Later owners said that the house had normal heating issues. Verdict on cold spots? Plausible, but not proven. Could be paranormal. Could be an old house. But I'm going to go with the cold spots being true. Claim 2, flies in winter. Evidence 4. This is very specific and strange. Flies in winter in a house is extremely unusual. One photo exists allegedly showing flies on the windows. Evidence against. No other witnesses reported flies. The Lutz's friends who helped them move said he never saw flies. Later owners never reported fly problems. Cluster flies do sometimes appear in old houses even in winter, especially if there's a dead animal in the walls. Verdict? Unlikely. Possibly exaggerated from normal cluster flies. I'm not going to go with flies being real. But you might, because I will say I have heard some stories about it. Claim 3. George's personality change. Evidence 4. George's business records show that he did stop working regularly in January 1976. Friends said he seemed different. This could indicate psychological stress. Evidence against could be explained by financial stress. They just bought that expensive house. Even $80,000 for a couple that didn't have a lot of money, it could be a burden. The stress of moving, blending of family, new responsibilities. No paranormal explanation necessary. Verdict. Likely true that he changed, but likely not paranormal. Probably stress. But what do you think? Claim 4. Missy's imaginary friend Jody. Evidence 4. Children do create imaginary friends. We've all had them, especially during stressful times. The pig detail is specific. One investigator claimed to photograph the red eyes in Missy's window. Evidence against. 5-year-olds have imaginary friends. This is a normal child development. The red eye photo is highly disputed and possibly a hoax. No one else ever saw or interacted with Jody, just 5-year-old Missy. Missy later said she didn't remember much about Jody. Verdict? Likely a normal imaginary friend exploited by parents for story value. But what do you think? We're 4 claims in. Notice the pattern? Drop in chat what pattern that you're seeing here. So I am seeing exaggerated, I am seeing true, hello, Anna Spa girl, welcome in. Stress for sure, but a pig, red eyes, exaggerated. Yes, they do have imaginary friends. So, do you see how things are kind of leaning toward exaggerated? Yeah. So that pattern is developing. Not to say that maybe some of it was, experienced, just not to the degree that, they claimed. But right, Jenny, I mean, you can be unsure about it, because again, I go back to things that I have experienced, things I know people have experienced. Right, Zoe Ann, enough for you to leave. Kimmy says, I would put what? I would put salt around the windows and at the doors. Yeah, they probably should have done that. All right, we're going to take a 10-minute intermission, and when we come back, we're going to continue diving into the Lutz situation at Amityville. So go get you some candy, drinks, whatever, and be back in 10. I hope y'all are having fun. Hey, Kelly. Hello, Karen. I mean, we are getting into serious investigation. Karen, thank you for reposting. Thank you. So glad you're enjoying it, Becca. Love it, love it. If you haven't reposted, go ahead and repost. Share the live. This is about Amityville. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Becca Lynn. Thank you for the presents. How are you loving that grandbaby? So adorable. I saw the pictures and I was just like, oh my goodness. Oh, I know it. They grow too fast. It's just crazy. It's insane how quickly they grow. We have quite a few new grandmas, I believe. Hello, Pastelina. Dreaming of Disney World. Oh, I always compare babies to puppies. That is so cute. Oh, you liked it. Yeah, Cherry Hill was intense. It was intense last night. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Tigger. Um, Cherry Hill is just boggling my mind how it's turning out. Oh, I'm so glad you like it. Rhonda, you're a new great grandma. Oh my goodness. I hope one day to be a grandmother. I asked my daughter, how many kids she wanted to have, and she said, this was a while back, this was years back, but she goes, I don't want kids. I want kitty cats. Okay, I'll be a grandmother to kitty cats then. Hopefully she's changed her mind about now. I know. I can tell when, people are very involved in the story. And last night was one of those nights when you don't see like a whole lot of chatting going on. I know that you are very involved. Very, very involved. And I saw something about, no, not Graham. I thought that was funny. You just never know how this story is going to end. I warned you all at the very beginning of Cherry Hill. I said it is going to be a roller coaster ride. Am I really, Shirley? You don't trust Graham? Why? Why do you not trust him? Can someone please let me know if we're close to the 10-minute mark, please? I've got to start doing my own timer. Rhonda, thank you for sharing the live. You think he's bad news? Oh. Congratulations to the new grandmothers. Congratulations to the new kitty cat mamas. Would you like another cat? Her name is Citrine, and I'll give her away for free. Oh no. We will just have to wait and see. I'll be a fur grandparent, Becca, and that's right. She loves animals. She just absolutely adores them. What happened with her? She's evil. She's a little ass. She gets in everything. And yeah, she is a major issue. Speaking of the devil, where is she? I'm shocked she's not in here into something. All right, I'm sure that it has been 10 minutes. Tomorrow night I will start putting on a timer. Let's all start coming back in. They are so mischievous. They really, really are. She thinks she rules the roost. She thinks she owns it all. All right. Tomorrow night is Vampire Night. Tomorrow night is Crimson Queen. On the main page. Oh, I love that name. The next dog that I get, I'm going to get a German Shepherd. And I'm going to name him Maximus Aurelius after the gladiator. All right. If you haven't shared the live, if you haven't reposted it, if you can do it now, that would be great. Maximus Aurelius. And I'm only going to teach him one command. When I say, like, if anyone ever tries to, like, attack or anything, we'll be like, run. All right, let's get back into the story. We've been going through the different claims, and there are a lot. I know, don't you love it? Shirley, thank you for the FYF. Please post this on your FYF. Thank you so much. Yes, I want a guard dog, a big one that's very loud. Claim 5. Hoof prints in the snow. Evidence 4. George Lutz claimed to photograph these. He said they were outside Missy's second floor window. Evidence against. No photographs were ever produced. Snow shows tracks easily. Neighbors saw no unusual prints. This claim appeared in the book, but wasn't in George's original statements to investigators. Verdict, likely fabricated. No evidence ever provided. I don't know about this one. I don't know. I don't believe it. Claim 6, Kathy levitating. Evidence 4. George Lutz claimed this in the book and in interviews. Evidence against. Only George witnessed this. There are no photographs, no other witnesses. Kathy herself gave inconsistent accounts, sometimes confirming, sometimes saying that she didn't remember. That automatically makes me suspicious. This is a common claim in hoax hauntings. Verdict: I'm gonna go with highly unlikely. No corroboration. Claim number 7: Kathy transforms into a hag. I look like a hag when I don't have makeup on. Evidence 4: George claimed this in his interviews. Evidence against: only George witnessed this. No photographs. Kathy denied herself that this happened. And this sounds like a nightmare or a hallucination, not reality. Verdict: extremely unlikely. I'm going to go with a lie. But, if you want to, you can say, maybe it was a dream. Claim 8: marching band sounds. Evidence 4: both George and Kathy claimed to hear this. Evidence against: no one else in the house heard it. The children were asleep. Neighbors heard nothing. But if it's a paranormal haunting, then I really don't expect the neighbors to hear it. No recordings of it. I would think if you heard marching band music in your house, first thing I would be doing is going and grabbing a recorder. Would you? Sound can travel strangely in houses. It could have been a radio, maybe a passing band, etc. Verdict: unverifiable. Could be a misidentified sound. Claim 9: green slime. Evidence 4. Now, I know, and we will cover this case at some point, but the Smurl haunting. I don't know if it was slime that they saw on the walls or if it was something black. If you have confirmation of that, can you let me know? So one photograph allegedly does show green substance. Both George and Kathy describe this. Evidence against: the photograph is disputed. It could be a cleaning product or paint. No samples were ever preserved or tested. This is a classic horror movie trope, The Exorcist, in 1973. Later owners never found green slime. My verdict on this, let me know yours: likely fabricated or a misidentified substance. Claim 10: a demonic face in the fireplace. Evidence 4: George claimed this. Evidence against: only George saw it. No photographs. Pareidolia, seeing faces in patterns, is extremely common. Fire creates constantly shifting patterns that can look like faces sometimes. Verdict: likely pareidolia or hallucination. We're halfway through the claims. Current assessment. How much do you believe now? Drop your updated number from 1 to 10. And remember, 1, total bullshit. 10, absolutely. Music didn't happen. More exaggerated. His imagination. Nope, never happened. If he only saw it, then yes. Tara says a 3. Amy says half. Palm says 6. Becca Lynn says 6. Pastelina says 6. Yeah, that was bold-faced lie like a rock. Nope, exaggerated, Shirley says. Um, exaggerated. So I think he's going overboard with his claims. Right, Rhonda Hemming, you would definitely need proof. Um, claim 11. But what I want you to see is the more we investigate this case, the less credible it becomes, right? Claim 11. Windows and doors slamming. Now, this is something that I've heard a lot about. Evidence 4. Multiple people claim to experience this in allegedly haunted houses. I mean, I hear this so much. Jenny says it 4. Some later visitors to 112 Ocean Avenue reported doors acting strangely. Evidence against. Old houses have settling issues. Drafts and poor weather stripping can cause doors to move. No one documented this on video, though this was 1976. Verdict: plausible. Could it be that the house was settling and that is the reason doors were opening and closing on their own? Or was it paranormal? Hey, Amber. Claim 12. Crucifix rotating. Again, this is something I have heard in other cases. Evidence 4. This is mentioned in the book. Evidence against. No witnesses outside the family ever saw this. No photographs or video. The Lutz's story changed. Sometimes it rotated, sometimes it flew off the wall. Which was it? This is another Exorcist reference, actually, from 1973. Hey, Angie. Verdict: likely fabricated, too similar to the movie. But what do you think? Claim 13. Physical attacks. Evidence 4. Kathy claimed to have scratch marks. No photographs of the marks were ever taken. You would think if you were scratched by something, an entity, ghost, demon, whatever, and you saw scratches, you're going to take pictures. Right? Evidence against. Scratches can be self-inflicted, consciously or during sleep. And I scratched myself really bad one time on the back of my neck, and it hurt like hell. No medical documentation at all. No witnesses to the actual attacks. These claims escalated over time in retellings. Verdict: unverifiable. Could be self-inflicted or fabricated. What do you think? Claim 14. The Red Room. Evidence 4. The Red Room does exist. It is a small storage space in the basement. It is painted a vivid red. Multiple people across different ownerships report very bad feelings in that room. Hey, Ray Ray. It gives people a sense of dread from the moment they enter it. And this is documented by multiple sources. Evidence against. It is on the blueprints. Lutz lied about this. Why he would lie about that, I have no idea. Bad feelings. Could be psychological. You're in a murder house, basement, okay? Red paint isn't sinister. It could have been used for storage of chemicals. I've had a red room, and it was absolutely beautiful. Well, it was a deep red. Well, maybe it was a burgundy. It doesn't matter. Verdict. Red Room is real and consistently reported as creepy. The Lutz claims about it are exaggerated because it absolutely is on the blueprints. Claim 15. Possession, violence, thoughts. Evidence 4. George claimed he had violent thoughts. This is easy to claim after the fact. No one witnessed him acting violent. This sets up a parallel to Ronnie DeFeo. It's very convenient for the story. George had no history of violence before or after leaving. Verdict. Likely fabricated to create drama. But what do you think? Claim 16. The final night. Chaos. Evidence 4. The Lutzes did leave suddenly, and they absolutely did abandon their positions. Evidence against. No neighbors reported seeing or hearing anything unusual. No police reports of disturbance, like the police is really going to believe them. The house showed no damage when investigators examined it later. The dramatic version only appeared in the book. Their initial reports were much calmer. Verdict. They left suddenly, which is absolutely true. But the dramatic phenomena likely fabricated. But what do you think? Chapter 5. The Lawyer's Confession. Now here's where it gets really interesting. William Weber. Remember that name? He was Ronnie DeFeo's defense attorney in 1975. In September 1979, 4 years after the Lutzes fled, William Weber gives an interview to the Associated Press. And he drops a bomb. William Weber is speaking to reporters. And these are his words. I know this story is a hoax. I was there when it was created. George and Kathy Lutz came to me in early 1976, shortly after they left the house. They were having financial problems. The mortgage was too much. They could not afford it. They'd abandoned the house and lost everything. They asked me if there was any way to make money from their experience. I suggested we could write a book together about the house. We sat around my table for hours, creating the story. We took details from Ronnie DeFeo's case, the voices, the demonic claims he made at trial. We added classic horror movie elements, levitation from The Exorcist, hoof prints, and demons from various sources. We invented most of it over wine at my kitchen table. The Lutzes were desperate for money. I thought it could help Ronnie's appeal if we could prove that the house was evil and influenced him to unalive his family. We created the Amityville horror together. It was supposed to be a collaboration, but then the Lutzes went behind my back and sold the story to author Jay Anson without me. They completely cut me out. That's why I'm coming forward now. They betrayed me, and the public deserves to know the truth. It was a hoax. I will say it again. It was a hoax, a money-making scheme, and it obviously worked. The lawyer who helped them create the hoax is confessing. Question. Just because he is confessing, though, does this prove that the entire story was fake? Or just that they embellished, added to something that might have had a grain of truth? Drop your take on it. Kind of shocking, isn't it? Right. Look at your responses. What? Becklin. Ray. Oh, wow. What? Ray, yes. Pastelina, so it's all made up. Wow. Becklin, what slime? See, this actually makes me mad because some people actually experience things and none. Believe them because of people like that. All for money. This is ridiculous. I mean, it can happen, but yes, some questionable. Amber says sad. Pastelina says I'd say most of it. It could be, but not all was exaggerated, Shirley says. Truth could be somewhere. X says never heard this. And that's why you watch Paranormal Files live. Because I go deep, I go dark, and I get the whole story. So great analysis. This is the crucial question because whether Weber admits they fabricated most of it or not, does that mean that all of it was fabricated? So after Weber's confessions, reporters began to investigate further. And what they found, the book deal. Jay Anson's book, The Amityville Horror, published in 1977, became a massive bestseller, made into a movie in 1979. The Lutzes made substantial money from book and movie rights. I mean, you can only imagine. The Lutzes changing stories. So, in early interviews, relatively mild claims, we felt uncomfortable, some strange things happened. That might be true. Later interviews, increasingly dramatic, changed way up. Levitation, slime, possession. The story escalated with each retelling. Financial motive. The Lutzes were deeply in debt when they bought the house. That is absolutely true. George really didn't want to do it, he said. He said Kathy pushed him to do it. They could not afford the mortgage. So even though the house was $80,000, that was an $800 mortgage in 1975. After 28 days, they were facing foreclosure. The book deal saved them financially. George Lutz's response to Weber. Initially denied Weber's claims. Later admitted they discussed the story with Weber. Eventually said, okay, some things were exaggerated for the book, but the core experience of what we went through was real. Ah, really? Kathy Lutz's response. She gave inconsistent statements. Sometimes supported George's version. Sometimes seemed uncertain about the details. Divorced George in 1988. Rarely discussed Amityville after. So we have seekers. A lawyer confessing they fabricated the story together. A financial motive, debt, disclosure. Escalating claims over time. Inconsistent details between family members. But we all have the question, if it was all fake, why did they only stay 28 days? Now, I know that they were about to go into foreclosure, but they could have stayed later. Why abandon their stuff? What scared them enough to leave? Drop your theory in the chat. Back when I saw the movie when it came out, I figured that some of it was stretched, right, Turtle Woman? What a surprise ending, right, Jenny? X, you're so funny. Erg. Debating paranormal scratches, share experiences. Thank you, Al. I love what you do. Interesting, or maybe to make the story more credible, I'd say just bad vibes after all. Maybe they left their stuff to make it appear more real. Absolutely. Ray Ray premeditated. Interesting. This is the mystery within the mystery. Right, Kimmy, I think a lot of it was fabricated. Because something made them leave. But was it paranormal? Or was it financial, psychological? Here's the most damning evidence against the Lutz claims. Multiple families have lived at 112 Ocean Avenue since 1976. What do they say? The Cromartie family, 1977 to 1987. Jim and Barbara Cromartie bought the house in 1977 and they lived there for 10 years. Their statement, nothing unusual ever happened. No flies, no slime, no ghost. It's just a house. The Lutzes were trying to make money. Later owners. Multiple families have lived there since. Most just refuse to discuss it publicly because of the notoriety. But those who have spoken say nothing paranormal has happened. But before I tell you what but is, drop your prediction. If multiple families live there with no problems, what could the but possibly be? What do you think the but is? The house is old, 10 years, absolutely. I think there is something wrong with the house. Surely you stuck to that the whole time, and I agree. I think there is something wrong. There is no way to get foreclosure in 28 days. That's only one payment. Right, Turtle Woman. Right. So what is the but? Here's what's interesting, crew. While most of the Lutz claims can't be verified and multiple families report that nothing happened, some specific things are consistently reported by multiple sources across time. Witnesses across different ownerships. A photographer in 1976 claimed to photograph a young boy on the stairs. I showed you the picture at the beginning, but I will show it to you again. Famous photo. Now that was 1976. Exactly. Yikes. So it's the famous Ghost Boy photo. It's disputed but unexplained. Later owners in the 1980s, now this was the 1980s, and these reports came through other family members. So the ones that said, no, we never experienced anything, well, a couple of owners told their family members that they reported glimpsing a child briefly on the second floor and the main floor. Paranormal investigators report sensing a child's presence there very strongly. Visitors report seeing a young boy peek around the corner and disappear. Descriptions are consistent across the board. A young boy, around 9 to 10 years old, dark hair, seems curious and not threatening. Important detail: John Matthew DeFeo was 9 years old. His bedroom was on the third floor. The sightings are near the staircase that he would have used. However, back in the 1950s and 60s, there was also a boy that was seen. The Red Room, consistent across sources. It does exist in the basement. It is painted red. Multiple people report intense unease in that room. Some report feeling watched. A few report the feeling of don't go in there. This is reported by not only believers, but skeptics alike. Cold spots, multiple reports. Various families report cold areas in the house. Particularly, it seems to come majorly from the second floor, which was where the murders took place. Could be poor insulation or something else. Sense of dread in certain rooms. Again, consistent reports. The bedroom where the parents were unalived, the bedroom where Mark and Allison were unalived, many visitors report overwhelming sadness or dread in these specific rooms. I mean, can you imagine? They probably left their imprint. Some report this even when they don't know which rooms that the murders actually happened in. Here's the thing. These reports come from people who have no financial motive to lie whatsoever. Later owners who want people to believe that it's just a house because they don't want the notoriety, they don't want to be looked at, they don't want vans parked in front of their house. Paranormal investigators, visitors, and random people. That is where these things are coming from. So, question for you. If the love story was mostly fake, but these reports are consistent and corroborated, what does that tell us? Do you think that something is there? Right, Amber. I believe it too. I believe that some people's energy is so strong they leave a mark when they die. Surely, I believe he exists, and that's what most feel and see. Some live there, but they aren't alive. I believe a house with spirits chooses who it wants to live there. It wanted them out. Absolutely. Shirley says again, something is wrong with the house. So something is there. I absolutely 100% believe that. Maybe it's the trauma from the murders that happened there. Maybe it's psychological, etc. But I do think that something is there, and I really do think it's paranormal. So this is where it gets genuinely interesting. So, theory one, is it a residual haunting? So, residual hauntings are trauma from the murders imprinted on the house. Not intelligent spirits, just echoes of horror. Explains why it's not aggressive or consistent. Theory number two, John DeFeo's spirit. John was the youngest, murdered in his bed. Maybe he doesn't understand that he's dead. It's so sad. Explains the child sightings. Explains the sense of sadness, not aggression. Theory number three, a psychological projection going on there. Everyone who enters knows what happened there. Or our brains create experiences based on expectation. The ghost boy is our guilt, sympathy for the murdered children. The dread is our reaction to knowing that 6 people passed violently there. Theory number 4, a combination. Some residual haunting from the murders, plus the Lutzes exploited and exaggerated it, plus subsequent psychological effects on the visitors. One of the most famous pieces of evidence from Amityville is the Ghost Boy photograph. Let me tell you the story. It was December 1976. Gene Campbell is a professional photographer, and he is hired by paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren to photograph 112 Ocean Avenue. The house is empty. The Lutzes are long gone. No one is living there. Campbell sets up automatic cameras throughout the house to take photos at intervals throughout the night. And when the film is developed, one photo shows something very strange. It's a young boy standing in the doorway, a white face, dark hair, large eyes, staring directly at the camera. No one was in the house that night. I showed you the photo twice now, but you can search Amityville Ghost Boy photo and see it yourself after this show. So my question to you is, do you think that the photo is real? That Gene Campbell actually captured something paranormal with his camera? Do you think it's fake? Do you think it's manipulated or staged? Do you think it's explained? Has a mundane explanation we just haven't found? Drop your vote. The debate continues to this day. Here's what we know. Arguments, it's real. The house was empty. No children present. Campbell was a professional photographer. This is very interesting. The infrared camera wasn't easily manipulated in 1976. The Warrens had no reason to fake it. They weren't being paid by the Lutzes. Arguments that it's fake. The Warrens were paranormal investigators who believed in ghosts. Confirmation bias. Photos can be double exposed or manipulated, even in 1976. Not to a high degree, but it probably could be done. The boy could be a reflection, a trick of light, or even a crew member's kid who was brought along. Arguments. It has mundane explanation. Again, pareidolia. We see faces in random patterns. Could be a camera malfunction, could be lens flare creating an illusion. Well, I have to say, that is quite an illusion. My take as an investigator, the photo is interesting, but not conclusive. It doesn't prove paranormal activity, but it also hasn't been definitively debunked. What it does do is add to the pattern. Multiple people across time report seeing a young boy in that house. Remember back in the 1950s when I told you that one little boy said that a boy walked in his room, stood at the edge of his bed, and said, "Shh, be quiet." So, what it does add to the pattern is multiple people across time report seeing a young boy in that house. We need to talk now about Ed and Lorraine Warren. Did you know that they had a fascination with the Amityville house? Could be yes, real, yes, I think it's real, real. I mean, that's a little far fetched. Absolutely. They're famous paranormal investigators. They investigated Amityville in 1976. Their involvement gave the case real legitimacy. But there's a problem. The Warrens had a financial stake in Amityville being haunted. They consulted on the book. They were paid for their involvement in the movie. They built their careers partly on Amityville's fame. When someone investigating a haunting has a financial reason to want it to be haunted, how much do you trust their conclusions? Drop 1 to 10, where a 1 is don't trust at all, or 10, fully trust. Amber 7, Pink 1, Amy 3, Rhonda 1, Ray Ray 3, X 1. Yeah. So, me too, Shirley. So, I fully expected to see very low numbers. Jenny says 1, Carol says 1, Mystic says 2, Diana says 5. Right. So, this is a major credibility issue. The Warrens claimed that the house was definitely haunted. They experienced phenomena during their investigation. It was one of the worst cases that they had ever seen. But they were paid consultants. They became famous from this case. They had motivation to confirm the haunting. Does this mean that they lied? Not necessarily. Maybe they genuinely did believe that it was haunted. Maybe they experienced something there, but their financial interest taints the evidence. Big time. So, what really happened? All right, we've investigated the claims. We've heard the confessions. We've examined the evidence. So what really happened at 112 Ocean Avenue in those 28 days? Here's my investigative conclusion, and you can give yours. What definitely happened? The Lutzes moved in December the 18th, 1975. They left suddenly on January the 14th, 1976. They abandoned all their possessions, their furniture, clothes, everything. They had severe financial problems. They collaborated with their lawyer to create a sensational story. They sold the story and made substantial money off of it. Most of their dramatic claims, levitation, slime, possession, completely fabricated. What probably happened? The Lutzes experienced something that unsettled them. I absolutely believe that. That something was likely paranormal, psychological, the stress of living where a massacre occurred, I'm sure can really mess with you. They may have heard strange sounds, um, old house, settling wind. They may have felt very uncomfortable after they moved in and realized, oh shoot, there really was 6 people that were unalived here. Um, George's personality change, I believe, was likely financial stress. I don't know if it was paranormal or not. Missy's imaginary friend was likely a coping mechanism for a stressful move. They exaggerated and embellished their mild experiences into a horror story. Now, here's what remains unexplained: why multiple people across decades report seeing a young boy? Why the Red Room consistently gives people unease? Why specific rooms create feelings of dread even in people who don't know the history? Whether the DeFeo murders created some kind of a residual haunting. I believe that it is paranormal. I believe that they made up a lot of stuff. But I do believe that the Amityville house was paranormal before they moved in and still is today. So, after tonight's investigation, what's your conclusion? Hoax? Completely fabricated for money? Exaggerated? Something happened but they lied about most of it? Real? They experienced genuine paranormal activity? Complicated. A combination of real phenomena plus lies plus psychological effects. I believe that I believe that I'm gonna say exaggerated. I do believe that something happened, but I believe that they lied about the really big parts of it. So most of you are saying complicated, exaggerated. Some of you do believe that's the smart read of the evidence. My assessment is that I'm going to say the Lutz story is about 80% fabrication, and Rhonda says a combination of all. I believe it's about 80% fabrication and about 20% paranormal. And, that's living in a Schmurder house was psychologically disturbing. Old houses make weird sounds and have cold spots, but I believe that was paranormal. They may have genuinely experienced some things there, but I don't think there was a demon pig named Jody. I don't think that his wife levitated, just because she recanted on that later down the road. And there is definitely something about that house that affects people. But 80% of it was invented for money. The flies, the slime, the levitation, the possession, the demonic faces, that's all horror movie stuff. That's William Weber sitting at his kitchen table saying, what if we add this? However, the house itself, I think there is something there. Not the demonic portal that the Lutzes claim, but something quieter, something sadder. A little boy who still walks those stairs. So tonight we've investigated the Lutz family's claims. We've separated the probable lies from the possible truth. We've examined the hoax and the money trail. And we found that the famous Amityville horror story is mostly bullshit. But we've also found that something does seem to linger at 112 Ocean Avenue. Something that multiple people have witnessed. Something that doesn't match the Lutz's theatrical claims, but is consistently reported, nothing less. A boy on the stairs. A feeling of sadness, depression, darkness. A sense that something terrible happened there. Because something terrible did happen there. So, does the Lutz hoax make you more or less likely to believe the other reports? Does their lying poison the well? Or does it make the consistent reports from other people more credible? Drop your take. Amber, thank you for sharing the live. Right. I believe the boy is a paranormal part. I believe the Red Room has a feeling of dread. I believe that something did happen there generations ago, centuries ago. And I do believe that something is going on in the house. Interesting, Pink. I def believe haunted, but not evil. Ray Ray says, I'm not too sure, but something is wrong. Rhonda says, I do as well. So, the majority of us all are coming together and saying, yes, there is something there. The house is not right. We know that the Lutzes made up a lot of stuff, but I still believe that it is haunted. Before we end, what is your current theory on the boy on the stairs? Do you think it's John DeFeo's ghost? That his spirit remains? Or do you think it's something else? Do you think it's a spirit perhaps from generations back? Or do you think that it's nothing? That there is no boy, just stories? George Lutz died in 2006. Kathy Lutz died in 2004. Both maintained until their deaths that something happened in that house, even while admitting the story was exaggerated for the book. Were they lying completely, or did they experience something genuine that they exploited? But here's what I want you to remember. We'll never know for certain, but here's what I want you to remember. The real victims of Amityville aren't the Lutzes who made money off of their lies. The real victims are Ronald DeFeo Sr., Louise DeFeo, Dawn DeFeo, Allison DeFeo, Mark DeFeo, and John Matthew DeFeo. 6 people were unalived, and whose tragedy became entertainment, became a franchise, became a joke. And frankly, they deserve better than that. Friday night, we finished the investigation. What will we discuss? What do current paranormal investigators find when they go in? How has Amityville influenced ghost hunting? The psychology of why we want haunted houses to be real. the legacy of the hoax. And the final question, is 112 Ocean Avenue haunted? Or are we? Until Friday night, keep your eyes open, keep questioning, keep investigating, and keep digging, seekers. Tomorrow night on the main channel, Crimson Queen continues. A war is coming. I will see you all tomorrow night. Take care and be safe. Bye, White Channel.